Hello, this is Father Son Galaxy. I am Kerwin, and this is Keith.
Hello.
As 2023 comes to a close, we take a look back at the best of Star Wars this year. Our guest on this episode is Alex Damon, host of the extremely popular Star Wars Explained, the premier source for anything and everything Star Wars. Alex and his wife Molly provide reviews and analysis of the films, TV series, books, comics, and games that are seen and heard around the world. They regularly appear on Star Wars Celebration stage and press junkets. Alex, welcome back to Father Son Galaxy.
Thanks so much for having me.
Happy holidays to you.
Yeah, happy holidays to you too.
Yeah. I checked out a couple of pictures. I saw the tree, which looked very nice, and you had the Death Star as the tree top. Very cool.
Yeah, that's our second tree. We have our main tree that's kind of nice and not just Star Wars themed, but we had enough Star Wars ornaments that Molly demanded we get a second tree, and so that's just Star Wars themed all the way.
Got it. And then, by the way, Molly's not here, unfortunately. She did have a prior engagement, but so we wish her the best. Please say hello to her.
Oh, I wish both of us just completely forgot when what we were like, this date works, and she had to do something with her other show.
Not a problem. We'll catch her again. All right. Well, so we got a lot of Star Wars this year, Alex. We can't complain, right? As Star Wars fans. So just alone on Disney Plus, we had Bad Batch Season 2, The Mandalorian Season 3, Star Wars Visions Volume 2, Young Jedi Adventures Season 1, Ahsoka Season 1. What moments stood out for you from any of these shows?
Good timing on this because I was just working on kind of like my favorite moments of the year, a video recap. And of the Disney Plus things, I think Keller and Beck being revealed as the Jedi who saved Grogu was one of my favorite things. Like, I was over the moon when that was revealed. Just to Keith, I see you're wearing the Jedi Temple Challenge shirt, actually. But Molly and I got really into that when it was on in 2020. And the thought of Keller and Beck being in something like The Mandalorian never occurred to me. So when we heard that name, both of us were kind of like, did they just say Keller and Beck? I think they said Master Beck or Kelleran or something. And we were like, do they really mean Keller and Beck? And to have Ahmed Best show up when those doors opened and to see him just wailing on those clone troopers was so much fun.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, Keller and Beck. So originally that character appeared on Jedi Temple Challenge, which is like a survivor game, I guess, for kids, if you want to put it that way. And I don't think he was particularly considered canon at the time, but now that he shows up in The Mandalorian, now he's canon. And as you should already know, if you're a Star Wars fan, Keller and Beck is played by Ahmed Best, all right, which we know who he is. He is a veteran of Star Wars, and it's just so good to see him back. And he looks happy, and he looks excited. He's in great shape. We talked about his karate skills or martial arts skills with the double lightsabers. It looked awesome. Yeah.
It had so many layers for me as someone who we started watching Jedi Temple Challenge just because on our channel we try to keep up with everything, and we were like, this will be cute, but we probably won't watch all of it. We watched all of it. Like, it was coming out during COVID, and then every week a new episode would drop, and Molly and I would each choose a team to root for, and we got really into it. So we already liked Keller and Beck from that. But then, yeah, the Ahmed Best of it all, getting to see him, and it's actually him. It's not a digital character, and he is such a talented martial artist to let him use all of those skills on screen like that. That there were so many emotions wrapped up in that for me.
Yeah. The only disappointing thing was you only saw him in that one episode. I was hoping he would come back and we would figure out, well, where did he take Grogu? But maybe that's for season 4.
I was just relieved that he got off the planet because I was afraid it was going to be a one episode thing.
Right. Exactly. So it looks like he survived. So maybe we'll hear more about Keller and Beck. Any other stories or moments that stood out for you this year?
Thrawn's reveal in Ahsoka, really, I think it was all of episode 6. and I'll throw episode 7 in there as well. And 5. 5 was great too, but being a Star Wars fan during the mid 90s, that's like when I started to get into Star Wars. So I watched the films and then I started to read the books. So I've known about Grand Admiral Thrawn since I was 8, and I really liked him as a character. To see him fully realized on screen was really cool. I loved his introduction. I still love Lars Mikkelsen playing him. But I also really loved Ezra. I'm surprised. Like, I knew I would love Thrawn on screen, but I'm surprised how much I loved Ezra, and seeing him using the Force to fight, not needing his lightsaber in that first conflict. I really, really loved that scene.
Very nice. Any moments for you stick out? Any series this year? Anything that you want to talk about? I'm sure you have a lot to talk about.
Dark saber.
The dark saber, okay?
Oh,
Yeah, just how the dark saber kept volleying from person to person over the course of season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Right. And then it ultimately ended up destroyed,
Yeah,
which
it was like it went to Mando, and then it went to the spider thing, which both went defeated, and then it went back to Mando for whatever reason. Then Mando gave it back to Bo-Katan, and then Moff Gideon got his hands on it, crushed it. Then he got blown up.
right.
how are you feeling about the loss of the dark saber?
I can't believe they did that to the dark saber.
All right. Okay. Well,
That
okay.
was unnecessary.
So you were disappointed that they destroyed the dark saber.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't know. I thought it became more of a hindrance than a help. And I thought Bo-Katan relied on it too much because she didn't have it. She felt, well, because I'm not wielding the dark saber, I don't have the authority to rule my people. And I was hoping that she would get to a point, I think she did, where she didn't need the dark saber to rule Mandalore, right? And I think ultimately they did the right thing with destroying the dark saber. I know that's controversial for some of us, but I think it was unnecessary to have it.
How, after Rebels, when Bo-Katan got the dark saber the first time, how would any Mandalorian know that she didn't earn it through combat? Like,
Well,
who was out here spilling company secrets?
in other
I,
words, okay, go ahead, Alex.
I think there were some Clan Vizsla people in that crowd. I'm trying to remember the scene in Star Wars Rebels, so maybe there was some people that wanted to try to take the dark saber back, and there could have been some people spilling tea.
So your point is that she didn't earn it because it was just handed over to her by Sabine.
Yeah.
Okay. And you think that her people would have questioned, well, how did you get the dark saber? Who did you have to fight to get it? And you don't think, and you
Yeah,
thought,
but Bo-Katan must have an absolutely horrible poker face. I mean, all she had to do is say, I fought some pirate tyrant and got the dark saber back from him.
and you think her people would have believed her.
Well, yeah, they'd have every reason to.
Well, that's true. I mean, they didn't question it. I don't know if it's because they didn't believe her, but I guess they felt it didn't matter how she got it. She had it, right?
Yeah.
That's
Especially in The
Yeah.
Mandalorian, it did seem like some of them were willing to really bend over backwards on those rules. Be like, okay, I guess Din is right, and she can take the dark saber back.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, we were getting lost in the rules. Exactly. How was it earned, and yeah, that's a good point. Again, I think maybe the writers got too bogged down about the dark saber and the lore. Who should have it? Who does it really belong to? Who earned it? And they say, you know what? Let's just get rid of this. Let's just get rid of this thing. We don't need it anymore. So, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe there may be more than one dark saber.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For me, what stood out for I'll tell you, the Bad Batch, and I know this is gonna upset Keith.
It's over, Dad.
Yeah,
It's over.
but it's fine. Spoiler review. I always forget to say that. We're going to be spoiling everything because these shows have been on Disney Plus for a while now. But I thought season 2 of the Bad Batch was so much better than season 1. It went beyond my expectations. Yes, there was still that mission of the week with Sid, and I was hoping that that would stop at some point. So I had to get through these missions, but I think it turned around for me when Echo left the group, and and we knew that was going to happen, and he went with Rex.
Whoa, do you have something against Echo?
No, no, I was not surprised that Echo was going to leave because we saw this in the first season that he just kept talking about what is our mission. We should be doing more. We should be working for Sid.
It's
This is
literally
this
in
is
the
beneath
trailer.
us.
Echo's like, we should be doing more.
Right. You say it that way, right? Yeah. So, and he meant it. He said, "Okay, well, you know what? I'm going with Rex because there's a cause here that I need to fight for," and he did. And I was very surprised by Omega's reaction for him leaving the group because in the first season you didn't really see much of a connection between the two or a relationship. But as soon as she found out that he was leaving, she really took it hard. And I think that's what turned it around for the group, and I think that turned it around for me, and it stopped becoming the mission of the week, and then it's more about, okay, well, what are we doing? When Echo left, they were like discombobulated. They didn't know what they were doing. They lost their ship, and they really needed to refocus and get back to what's going on. And then eventually Echo comes back, for a little while, but the last two episodes, it was just stellar. We saw the first 14 episodes, and then we didn't know how it was going to end the last two episodes, and it just blew me away. It just had everything that you would want. Tarkin and the compound, and it was interesting. And the twist at the end with Omega at the very end. She have a relationship with somebody else, or maybe a relative. Seeing Tech go, that was absolutely just not prepared for that at all.
Uncalled for.
Yeah, well, we were not prepared for that. But so, what do you think of the Bad Batch season 2, Alex?
I agree. It was better than season 1. I liked season 1 a lot. I think it was the strongest season 1 of any Star Wars animated show. So season 2 just continued to be great. Molly is still in deep denial that Tech is actually gone. And I remember both of us, like when he executed Plan 99, we didn't really have a reaction to it because we were both like, no, he's not gone. I fear that he actually is, but Molly is like holding out hope that he'll be in season 3 somehow. But yes, I thought season 2 was great. If I had to maybe pick a standout, it would be the 2 Crosshair focused episodes.
Yeah.
I thought they were phenomenal. I really like the new villain Hemlock. He's just creepy in all the right ways. Very easy to root against.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Crosshair's not really a character, though.
What do you mean?
The second season, we get he's just 2 episodes around him, and most of those episodes, both of those episodes are centered around him and another clone, rather than being focused on him.
The funny thing is, his episodes were actually the best of the episodes. I think whenever he was on the screen, it was like you couldn't take your eyes off of him. What's going to happen next?
I don't know if you watched the X-Files at all, but the smoking man is that character that every time he popped up in an episode, you'd perk up and be like, "This is going to be a good one." That's how I felt about Crosshair in season 2.
What are the X-Files?
I didn't watch the X-Files growing up, Alex. Yeah,
it's kind of it's similar to the Bad Batch in a lot of ways because it would be kind of a mission of the week thing, but it was about 2 FBI agents that would investigate supernatural activity, aliens and ghosts and stuff like that.
There you go. All right. Okay. All right. Of the series, of the shows that you saw this year from Disney Plus, did you have any favorite new characters? Any new characters that you saw for the first time this year that stood out for you?
Ooh. Now I have to. I'm just kind of like scrolling through. I did mention Hemlock. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
And Mayday, that clone from the Outpost.
Yeah, good one.
I liked him.
Rest in peace, right? Yeah. Okay, Keith.
Rip number 2 at this point.
Rip number 2. Who was number 1?
Tech.
Okay, Keith. All right, we got it. We got it.
That should not have happened.
I know that was tough to watch, but it was great television.
It's interesting because Ahsoka has so many returning characters that I'm like, they're not new so much, but I do really love Iman Asfandi's portrayal of Ezra. I thought he was fantastic, but everyone I'm going through in my head, I'm like, well, they're just in live action for the first time, but I've known them for so long.
Yeah. What about Balin Skull, Ray Stevenson's character?
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. I loved him. How terrible of me to forget Balin and Shin, but I really liked them, and I would be disappointed when they weren't more prominent in any of the episodes. But Balin was great.
Yeah. Well, we know what happened to Ray Stevenson, and at the end of the finale, we saw his character standing on the arm of the father of Mortis, but we don't know exactly. He's on a journey to do something or to go somewhere, but we don't know what it is. But I'm thinking that now that Balin may be gone, that he may have to pass whatever his journey is or what his plans are to Shin and have Shin take over and complete his journey for him. Do you have any thoughts as to what could happen to Balin? Do you think they'll bring him back as a new actor, or do you think they'll just end his storyline?
I guess my hope is that he will be recast at some point, because I thought his character was great. I thought his story was very compelling. So I would like to see it play out the way Dave Filoni, I think, had it envisioned already. It seems like he knows where Balin is headed and what he wants. So I think I would like to see the character continue on.
Got it. Any new characters for you that you met for the first time this year that was memorable? No?
Jack Black.
Okay, talk about it. Talk about the character. Go ahead.
First of all, I'm surprised he didn't do a musical number. Secondly, Captain Bombardier. That was not intentional. Captain Bombardier. Awesome character for that one episode he was in. The
Nice.
Scooby-Doo episode of The Mandalorian.
You call it the Scooby-Doo episode.
Christopher Lloyd was like, and I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling children.
I got it.
That is a lot like Scooby-Doo.
Okay. All right. I'm thinking of Fee. I think that's her name. The character played by Wanda Sykes. I thought she was very good. I like because she was the opposite, to me, the opposite of Sid. I was really getting tired of Sid.
I know,
and
right?
I was glad that Fee came in. She felt like a breath of fresh air, that she was looking out for the best interests of the batch. And then when she took them to her planet Pabu was beautiful. And I'm hoping that after this is all over, we know next year is going, well, the next season will be the last season. I'm hoping that if they make it out, that they decide to just go back to Pabu and retire. So I really like her character. And then the relationship, who saw this coming? Her and Tech, having eyes for each other.
By the way, you know what's cool about Fee? She doesn't just care about people. She cares about her droid. Because when her droid got blown up, she had already backed up his memory in case something like that happened.
Yeah.
And I'm always a sucker for any Indiana Jones style character. So her episodes had a lot of Indiana Jones references in them. So that was great.
Okay. All right. So, we're finishing up the Disney Plus series. Anything else or any other characters or moments we want to bring up before
I'll shout out Kai Brightstar and all the characters of the Young Jedi Adventures. Honestly, that's another show that I enjoyed way more than I thought I would. I'm not the target demographic for it, but I really like them, and seeing some High Republic book and comic characters make their way onto the screen, that was really exciting for me. So I like all those little kids.
Yeah, I agree with you. We enjoyed it. Oh, you have something to say?
No.
Okay. We enjoy Young Jedi Adventures. It was fantastic. But you're right. Kai Brightstar, very, very smart, very intelligent. He wants to learn about the Force, and he's got Yoda, the best teacher there, and Nash Durango and Liz And
The
Nubs, like Nubs I guess he's not as big as Yoda, but he's kind of like he's up there. He's a very popular character all of a sudden.
I mean, you can see we've got like a little collection of them going back there. Molly keeps buying stuff, but I loved the episode with Bel Zettifar from the High Republic books and
Yeah.
seeing Kai look up to him. And my hope is that
What?
in the books we
Yes.
get to see Kai and Bel, like Bel might be his master in the future.
Yeah, those are the last few episodes. I think they dropped back in November, I believe, and we have to catch up on those. Yeah, but that was
God, Bel Zettifar.
very good.
Yeah.
About that, very cool. All right, so we're gonna wrap up the series and move on to books. If you
Comics,
don't have,
games, and Lego, actually.
okay, well, books. You want to talk about the books?
I want to talk about comics.
Okay, we'll get to the
games, and
comics,
Lego.
but can we?
We'll go to
talk
the
about the
books
books?
afterwards.
Oh boy. Okay, so you want to go to the comics?
Well, let's start with Lego.
Okay, so let's talk about Lego. I know you have a segment on your show, Alex, where you do a Lego build. Any favorite Lego builds you put together this year?
What did I'm trying to remember if we did the Razor Crest this year? I think we did. I liked that one a lot. We're in the middle of the Venator right now, which has been a fun build, a big one too. So I'll probably go with the Venator because we always joke about how these sets are just big and they're cool, but they're all just gray. And so the fact that the Venator has some splashes of red on it's a nice change of pace.
Very nice. Okay, what do you want to talk about with Legos?
All right. Well, that was really it. Just like building Legos.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to
Well, did you have a favorite set of the year?
What did you build this year? Even if it's not Star Wars, because I know you build a lot of Marvel.
the
Along with
gauntlet.
Star. There's a gauntlet.
It would be
There you
even
go.
better if I could just keep everything.
Oh.
Ah!
I've been there.
Almost. Okay. All right, we're good.
Oh, Lordy.
No. You gonna say something?
I got it. I can fix this.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about anything related to any video games. I don't know if you're a gamer or talk about comic books. Is anything that stood out for you this year? Any highlights with the games or the comics? Alex?
Oh, yeah. Star Wars Jedi Survivor was probably my favorite Star Wars thing this year. I really loved the first game, Fallen Order. So getting into Survivor did not let me down. I thought it was fantastic.
All right. Very good. All right. So let's get back to the books. All right. So there have been many Star Wars novels. I have fallen behind, I'll be honest with you, but there are plenty of High Republic books. I don't know how many you read, but any books that you recommend for other people to read?
I've kept up with all of the High Republic books. The one that just came out, The Eye of Darkness, was probably my favorite High Republic book that came out this year. I was a big fan of Phase 1. I liked Phase 2, but not as much, and so Phase 3 is kind of getting back to those original characters, and so it's been really great to revisit those.
All right, very good.
Yeah, Phase 1 felt like forever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then Phase 2 just ended, correct? And now we're starting Phase 3 in October, November?
Yeah, I believe end of October.
Okay.
The first book definitely came out mid-November.
Got it. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about Star Wars Celebration in London. All right. You were there, and Molly. There was this big announcement that people were not expecting. So for so many years, we've been talking about when are we going to see the next film? When are they going to, give us another film? Well, apparently there are not one, not two, but 3 films in development at Lucasfilm. So let's go through one of them at a time. Let me know your thoughts on each one. All right, so the first one is one directed by James Mangold, right? And he's directing a film about the first Jedi to wield the Force and takes place approximately 15,000 years before The Phantom Menace. Did you hear anything else about this story? Or do you know anything more about this future movie?
Not really. I really like James Mangold. I think he's a great director. Has done some great stuff like Logan, Ford v Ferrari, the latest Indiana Jones. But this is the one that I'm most excited about because am always pushing for Star Wars to spread out a little bit more. And the other two movies are set either close to or within the time of the Skywalker saga. So having one thousands and thousands of years earlier, I think that sounds awesome and different. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing the most.
All right, good. You want to go with the second one?
Yeah, so Dave Filoni is going to direct a film about the escalating war between the Imperial Remnant and the New Republic. So this is basically this is basically going to be like the Knights of the New Republic or Ranger. What is that show called?
Well,
Rangers of the New Republic or something.
Well, I'm thinking that this is
It's
probably
like the show that was supposed to feature a character that got scrapped, and now they're doing it with all the other characters.
right. But I think what Dave Filoni's doing, I think it has to do with the Mandoverse. From what I'm hearing, that he's going to bring all of his characters together in this time period with the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, Ahsoka. What do you think? What do you think, Alex? Any more information about Dave Filoni's next film?
Nothing outside of what was announced, but yeah, I assume if we're to jump back to like the Legends days and we're bringing Thrawn in, that was kind of his story back in the mid 90s, is that he is gone when the Empire falls, he comes back, and then he leads a campaign against the New Republic and does a good job for a while. So I think Thrawn is going to be built up as a big threat, and we're going to see the New Republic push him back, probably with the help of the Mandalorians and some of these other characters that we've met along the way.
Nice. And then the next film is directed by Charmin Obey-Chinoy, directing a film set 15 years after the rise of Skywalker. All right, about rebuilding the new Jedi Order, starring Daisy Ridley as Rey. What do you think about that movie? Are you looking forward to
I
this
think
movie?
that would be the one I'm second most excited about at this point, because it is also set outside of the Skywalker saga. So we're going to kind of see the evolution of the Jedi and the galaxy. Again, it's like kind of the unknown element to me is very exciting.
Okay. And I think this is probably going to be the first film that will probably come out of the gate, right? Because I believe there's a script completed. Daisy Ridley has read it, and I guess I'm hearing from social media that she read it and it's not what she expected it to be. I guess that's probably a good thing. It's better than she expected. So it looks like this is the first film of the three that's going to be ready first.
And I think Charmin Obey-Chinoy had said something along those lines back at Celebration, that she's honored to direct the next Star Wars film. So I think 2026 is the next release date set, sometime in May. So I imagine that will be the first one we get.
All right. Very good. Do you have any comments?
It's still going to be here before GTA 6.
GTA 6.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a meme.
Okay, what does it mean?
Grand Theft Auto 6.
Okay,
so
right.
I feel like I explained this. The joke is that Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in the 2000s, and GTA 6 still hasn't come out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's like...
When was it expected to come out?
I don't know. I don't follow GTA.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anything, any comments you want to make about these upcoming films?
Nah.
No? Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. You want to take the next one? Talk about this?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So 2023 is the 40th anniversary of the release of Return of the Jedi. Did you see it again on the big screen when it came out in theaters again?
Or did you see it for the first time on the big screen? I don't know.
My first time seeing it on the big screen was 97 when the special editions were coming out. You know, I don't think we saw it this year. We saw it last year because the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra did like an in-concert thing. So we saw it with an orchestra. But I don't think we saw it this year. We actually wound up seeing The Empire Strikes Back on May 4th in Atlanta. But we didn't see Return of the Jedi.
Okay. That's funny you mentioned that, Alex, because we went to the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra last year in May for Return of the Jedi in concert. Were you there, or are you referring to watching The Empire Strikes Back?
No, we were there at the Return of the Jedi show.
You got to be kidding me! Wow.
We were there.
We were there. So Damon Gupton was the conductor.
I don't remember.
Yeah. We were. I don't recall when I found out that you live in that area. You live in
I
Atlanta,
did
and I
not
had
see you.
no idea. But of course, if we were there, we would have said, "Hey,
Yeah.
look, we're here."
Yeah, we
But
would have met up right there.
yeah, well, how interesting! I think we went to the same concert. Well, did
That's
you go
hilarious.
Saturday, Sunday? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Bruh.
yeah. Wow, I think we were there together. Cool. Yeah. Okay. All right. Return of the Jedi. Yeah. So I've told this story before about Return of the Jedi. I know Keith is tired of hearing it. That's why I'm going to keep telling it. So I remember I was around when the movie was released in 1983, and two of my best friends, the
Can I
three of
tell
us. You want to tell it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. He's going to tell this
I
story
know it's
since
by
he's
heart.
heard it so much. Go ahead.
Dad went to Lowe's Astor Plaza with my uncles Craig and Chris, and they went to go see the movie. And it was a 2-hour wait, and the dude was handing out chipwiches,
Yeah.
chocolate chip sandwiches. And they went inside, and it was the Dolby surround sound in the theater. And also, Lowe's Astor Plaza is no longer there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a theater in Midtown Manhattan. It was the Memorial Weekend where we went to see it. It was one of the best theaters in the city because it had the Dolby surround sound. So that's where we went to see it. And I still remember to this day, it is the best movie experience I've ever had. So that's the reason why I keep talking about it and bringing it up. But it was wonderful to see it again. That was the last time I've actually, well, if you're not counting the live in concert, but seeing it in a movie theater, I saw it 4 times in 83, and that was the last time that I seen the movie in theaters until this year when I took Key,
Wow.
and Key finally got to see it in the theater as well. So it was fantastic. Yeah.
Also, now my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, there you go. How about that? Cool. Yeah, so that Return of the Jedi, has a special place in my heart. So very cool. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about what we're expecting in 2024. All right, so okay, you want to take this, or you want me to take this one?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
You take the first one, I'll take the second one.
Okay, so now, Alex, I don't know if you saw this tweet. It was a press release that was provided by somewhere overseas, and it mentioned 2 Star Wars series releasing on Disney Plus in 2024, right? That's
Mhm.
Skeleton Crew and The Acolyte, which I find it very unusual that it's just 2 series. So I don't know if I should believe what I'm hearing, but I was expecting maybe Bad Batch season 3 would also be coming out. But let's talk about the 2 that we know of that seems to be confirmed, in quotes. Let's start with the Skeleton Crew. So the Skeleton Crew it's about a group of kids who went on an adventure out in the galaxy. There was a quote. This is from Star Wars Celebration this year, where Filoni said it might be more than what they can handle. And then we had the directors that were announced. John Watts, David Lowery, the Daniels, who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once, Jack Shire, Bryce Dallas Howard, Lee Isaac Chung, and that there was a trailer that was shown at Celebration London. Do you remember the trailer? Do you remember anything from it that you can share with us?
Little flashes here and there. I remember kind of shots of the kids, especially one of them looks like a little blue alien. Um, they they talked about like the Amblin feel of it, that it would kind of feel like ET or the Goonies. It definitely did feel like that, including shots of like flashlights in the woods. Uh, we kind of got a glimpse of what the suburbs in Star Wars looks like, so that's interesting. Um, Vane, the pirate from the Mandalorian season 3, was in it. So it definitely will have some connections back to the rest of the Mandoverse. And then they showed Jude Law, his character, right at the end, and he was using the Force, but that's all that we knew about him. That they didn't say whether or not he was a Jedi or anything like that.
Okay. Do you remember if he was wearing a Jedi robe? I guess you would have remembered that.
Well, he was wearing a robe with a hood on it, but it
Uh,
didn't look very Jedi. It looked kind of tattered and old.
got it. Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Now I'm wondering, here we are, it's December. And Celebration was back in was it April?
Yeah.
And we have not seen one official trailer for this series. I know it's coming, but I'm just surprised we haven't seen it by now. But that's pretty cool. I grew up, watching the Amblin films. Big fan of E.T. and Back to the Future, The Goonies. Keith and I saw that recently. But I'm looking forward to it. And Keith is a fan of Stranger Things,
Yeah.
so I know he's looking forward to this series as well. Okay. All right. You want to take the second one?
Yeah. The Acolyte. Sorry. So Leslie Headland is describing The Acolyte as Frozen meets Kill Bill. I don't know how
know
I'm
what that
supposed
means.
to take that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
And it's supposed to be set between the time of the High Republic and the prequel era, so it's going to have plenty of Jedi. But that also means we probably won't see Anakin or anybody from the Skywalker lineage.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be when the bad guys are outnumbered. And we saw some footage. Looks very dark. We saw Padawans, aliens, some karate, kickboxing, force fights between Carrie-Anne Moss and Amanda Steinberg's characters. And Alex, did you see anything in the footage?
Do you recall anything else?
Lots of aliens. I remember lots of lightsabers. I just thought it looked very impressive. It looked really, really good. The martial arts mixed with the Force, that was really cool. Like, if you liked what Ezra did in Ahsoka, this felt even more exaggerated. You described it pretty well, though. It all matches the aesthetic of the High Republic with like the white and gold robes. But I can't recall much else other than just like being really excited about it, because I am a big fan of the High Republic books, and this is going to be our first live action Star Wars project that doesn't take place between the Phantom Menace and the Rise of Skywalker. Like, everything else takes place in there. So to jump 100 years before all that, I'm so excited to see what that looks like.
And what's nice about this too is that you're going to be meeting brand new characters, so they're not tied to anything in the Star Wars lore that we already know. So you can create your own stories, create brand new characters, just make it feel like Star Wars. So I'm looking forward to the Acolyte. Yeah,
that's definitely what I'm most looking forward to in 2024.
Yeah. All right. Now, so going back to this press release, so we only had these two series on the release. What do you think of, well, I know the strike might have delayed a few things. So we were supposed to get Andor season 2 in 2024, but it looks like that's been moved to 25. I don't know if you've heard the same thing. What about Bad Batch season 3? Do you think we'll still see that next year?
I think we will. The press release, and maybe this is wishful thinking on my part, but the way it was worded, it was very much focused on, here are the new series coming to Disney Plus, including new things on Marvel's end, other fandoms. But then for Star Wars, the new series would be the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, whereas the Bad Batch is not something new. And I think Tales of the Jedi was also set to come out in 2024. But since that's not new, my hope is that's why it wasn't mentioned, and that it still will come out next year.
Now that makes sense. Okay.
Also, like, it just seems like they don't market the animated stuff nearly as hard as live action.
Yeah.
So there may be an element of that as well.
Yeah, which I don't understand why, because to me, animation is the best Star Wars that's out there. I, again, adore the Bad Batch. Rebels is a great show, one of my favorite shows. So, yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why they don't promote the animated series as much as the live action, but I guess they feel that there's a bigger audience for the live action than it is for the animated series. But I'm looking forward to it. Right. It didn't make any sense to just have these two listed, because Marvel, as far as I know, is only coming out with one movie next year, Deadpool, right? Which is unusual for them. One film. Don't know how many Disney Plus shows.
Well, I know there's Echo.
Okay,
and What
Echo.
If runs till the 31st, so that's technically still 2023.
Right, and at Echo, they're running all of the episodes all at once, like Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which
what
makes
else is
sense
there?
because Echo's supposed to be a Netflix type show, up there with the caliber of Daredevil,
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Punisher,
Yeah. I
Luke
just
Cage.
I just don't want Disney Plus to be light on entertainment next year. So I mean that's
Well,
not gonna work out well for their subscribers. If there's nothing to watch, they can start losing more.
I
Yeah,
don't think it's light on entertainment because they started merging in Hulu content to Disney Plus, which I'm surprised they're only doing it now because if you look in their ads, they literally have shows on Hulu merged into the Disney Plus home screen. Don't ask me why they've been marketing like that if it's not really there, but now it is here. And there's a whole Hulu page. And I'm sure ESPN will be next.
Alex, you were going to say something?
I was going to actually bring up that exact same point that Hulu merging with Disney Plus could help out. I pulled up the press release just to look through it real quick. Marvel also has Agatha, the Darkhold Diaries,
Sure.
and the reboot of the 1997 X-Men show. I
Mm.
also saw down at the bottom, it does talk about returning series, and it doesn't mention everything, but it's more talking about just some things they wanted to highlight. So I guess that they weren't talking about every little thing that's going to happen in 2024. I do think that more makes sense that the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew are the new things. But also, Jennifer Corbett, who is the showrunner for the Bad Batch, recently tweeted that they just had their last sound mixing session. So I think that hopefully points towards a 24 release date.
Great. Good.
I would hope so too.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to anything else that we might have missed for next year?
The High Republic books. I literally today was doing a video on here's everything coming in 2024.
Wow.
And we've covered the major stuff between the live action and animated series. The video game. Oh yeah, Star Wars Outlaws. I'm psyched for the next installment in Star Wars video gaming.
Excellent. Very good. Well, that is it. So I think we covered as much as we know. So we're looking forward to 2024. Had a great time with what we saw in 2023. Alex, thank you so much. I know you are the premier authority on Star Wars, so we were so honored to have you on our podcast and talk about the year-end wrap-up. Where can people find you?
We're on YouTube and Twitter or X or whatever for as long as it's around. Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, all of those places where it's Star Wars Explained.
All right. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Alex Damon of Star Wars Explained. Do you want to give our credentials or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Our socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I refuse to call it X, at Father Son Galaxy. Please check out our merch store, fathersongalaxy.myspreadshop.com. Donate to our Patreon page, patreon.com/fathersongalaxy, and check out our website, fathersongalaxy.com.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Alex, once again. Please hail and Molly. We missed her.
Will do. Thank you. I'll come back anytime. When the Bad Batch is back and we're doing our after show, we'll get you both on.
We'll be there. We'll be there. Thank you so much. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode. Until next time, take care, and we will see you again.